I assure you the Tibetan bell is nothing like the alarm, the fire alarm that goes off in our elementary schools. It's an awful sound. And it's like, wah, 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 wah.
Oh, yeah.
And every time it went off, I mean, you just thought, oh, this is it, you know, because you had to get everyone out within, 3 minutes? You know, Randy had 1,000 students, and I had probably about 750. But I just still had this resistance against that alarm, that fire alarm. Well, the first time we went to Paris and rode the transit system, guess what the sound was every time it stopped?
Oh.
It went wah, wah, wah. And it's like every time that, and that's the way we traveled. So it was like, okay, this is what the fire drill sounds like. I've got to somehow embrace that. So, no, the Tibetan bell, it's lovely. It's quite lovely. So in talking about our lessons, this is lesson 11. We've had a recurring theme in all our lessons so far, and it's we're all part of the same story. We're all part of the same story. It's only when we pretend that somehow we're different do we find ourselves struggling. And in talking about mindfulness of the mind, which is something one of the third of the four foundations of mindfulness, one of the things that we touched on last week, and I want to continue with tonight, is the ego. And of course, we grew up with understanding that we all have an ego. And we carry this ego around with us wherever we go. There we are with our ego. And so one of the things in learning about the nature of the mind that we begin to see is, what is the ego? We can talk about it. We kind of have a sense of what it is. But when we begin to look at it clearly, up close, then what we see is really the ego, even though we put it in one word, it's a collection of thoughts and mind states about ourselves. And so that's what we're in the process of doing, is just kind of looking closely. What are we telling ourselves about ourselves? And then in looking at it closely, we're saying, is it true? Because if the ego really is just a collection of thoughts that we carry along with us, we know that the mind can't always be trusted. So we begin to question these dialogues we have about ourselves. And we're not doing it in a way of, thou shalt not have an ego, or shame, shame, shame your ego. No, because we all have it. It's there. It comes with having a human body. But what we want to do in the practice that enables that is let it be known You don't have to hate it or judge it or try to push it away or say, you know. Modify it in any way. Just knowing it. Just knowing it. So Adyashanti, Buddha's teacher, says the love that your ego is looking for can only be found in your essence. Nobody and no thing can give you enough of it on the outside. So if we don't understand the ego, and the ego, as we all know, has so many strong needs, if we don't get to know it, then we're lost in it. And when we're lost in these stories and these thoughts we have about ourselves, sometimes it comes with an inner critic. We are not very nice to ourselves. We've been saying things to ourselves that's just, once we start really looking, are just not true. But also there's a sense that we have not only an inside critic, inner critic, but also we have dialogues about ourselves that, oh, we're so different, you know. We're so other than this other person or this group of people. How we want to be separate, better, more. And it hurts because that's the separation that causes the suffering, whereas it is the connection that I was just talking about, that we all have this ego and we all have capability of understanding it truthfully and honestly, and that connects us. Trungpa Rinpoche says, ego can convert anything into its own use, even spirituality. And boy, having a practice for as long as I've had practice, I've seen that's so true. There goes the ego with being a meditator. I'm a meditator. Not only that, I teach it. Thank you. You see how the ego just comes right in there? How I start identifying and where I don't practice what I teach. So striving to be different and trying to be a better person just doesn't work. So we're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to know it and to love it and to befriend it and to honor it as part of being a human being and honor it in others. And so as we begin to become fully human, so do we allow the people around us to be human with all its ups and downs, all of us being perfectly imperfect. A lot of you have heard this story over and over again, but I never tire of telling it about the Dalai Lama that was in a conference one time with a lot of other teachers and monks. And the Western teachers were talking about how their students had this sense of not being enough, unworthiness, of being really critical of oneself and not liking oneself. And the Dalai Lama listened for a while, and finally he had to turn to someone. What is this? He couldn't understand it. What is this? And he says, in his own beautiful way, don't they know that we all have Buddha nature? That our kindness, that's who we really are, is our goodness and our kindness. He was amazed. But he grew up in a Buddhist country where his conditioning was his goodness. That's who we are. We are this unconditional love. Now what we're seeing is what's keeping, what's not allowing us to touch or to be with who we are. So his culture pointed him to his goodness and his kindness. Now our culture breeds separation and shame. And a lot of it has to do with being competitive too, but we're conditioned that way. And it conditions us to have this feeling of unworthiness and not being good enough. Because a lot of us grew up, not only in families, but in work areas, wherever we worked, organizations, and within a culture without a cohesive and nurturing sense of belonging. We feel like outsiders. On our own and disconnected. Mother Teresa, when she was alive taking care of the poor, she said the biggest disease today is not leprosy or TB, but rather it's the feeling of not belonging. Of not belonging, not being good enough. And so some of us were raised with the original sin that we're basically flawed. We're not deserving, and we must control ourselves all the time. Our emotions, our natural surroundings, and other people, and we must strive tirelessly. Ooh. Just even hurts. I feel the tightness just talking about it. See the difference? And so our fears, our insecurities, desires get passed along from generation to generation. Randy comes from a family that worries. I come from a family that has a lot of anger. So we have it. It's our conditioning. Now, how are we going to relate to it? Because we can't push it away and we can't change it. Anything that's changed is something happens quite naturally. But certainly not through any striving or wanting it to change. So we're learning to love ourselves as we are and to honor that. And to know that we are perfectly imperfect. And we're taught that our emotions, like our fear or our anger, is something's wrong with it. Even though it's a very natural phenomenon. As natural as anything else in our lives. And it was ways, and still are ways, that we rely on to express our frustrations and things that aren't acceptable. Hello, human being. There you are. So it's risky, and most of us won't do it. We won't take this knowledge within us are open to this knowledge, actually, within us, if we don't know how to relate to it. So that's what the practice is all about, is learning how to love it all. The good, the bad, Frank, and the ugly. I just say that because Frank sometimes helps me with my lesson. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
You're not saying Frank's ugly.
No, I'm not saying Frank's ugly.
That's what I heard.
Oh. Don't carry that with you.
It's all good.
So, where's the secret? The secret is so simple. And it's so simple that we just can't quite believe it, because we really do have to experience
Well,
it.
tell us what it is.
Oh, well, don't get in a hurry. Impatience. That's impatience. Just being with what is in any given moment. It's the present moment. Whatever is happening. You don't have to like it. The freedom comes in knowing you don't like it. See the awareness? See how it changes the relationship? Oh, I don't like it. Oh, this is what being as a human being, what it feels like within my body of not liking. See the difference? So it's how we're relating. And we're relating to all these things about us in an open and kind and loving way. We must learn how to love ourselves. The love and tenderness and the respect that you give others must be open to. Tara Brock, who is a clinical psychologist along with as a Vipassana teacher, says we need both a sincere resolve or right effort and right action that includes effective practices to awaken our heart and mind. And that is what mindfulness meditation is all about. We're waking up to what? To our loveliness. We're getting to know what to be a complete, whole human being with all of its things. Okay, I'm going to move right along here because this I want to say. Rumi, the poet Rumi, saw clearly the relationship between our wounds and our awakening. He counseled, this is wonderful, don't turn away. Keep your gaze on the bandaged place. That's where the light enters you. Let me say it again. That's so beautiful. Don't turn away. Keep your gaze on the bandaged place. Hold it off. That's where the light enters you. So when we look directly at the bandaged places in us that we've habitually pushed away, and without denying it or avoiding it, we become tender toward being a human being in all its frailties. Our attention allows the light of wisdom and compassion to enter. It happened quite naturally. There is nothing to do. There is nothing to do. It's not a push. It's not a stop. It is the being. It is letting it be. It is allowing. Unlike what we've been conditioned. Okay, Randy, I'll stop there and see if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
Well, it made me smile. It's also survival.
It
When my conditioned worry meets her conditioned anger, it is a lot of fun.
It is that ugly. It is that
How long have we been married?
48 years.
We wouldn't have made it without meditation practice. I got news for you.
No. Because you know what? We're like any other couple. Don't project that because we teach meditation that we are unlike any other couple you know. It just ain't so.
I don't think anybody projects that. I'm sorry.
You're pretty safe there.
Yeah, good.
You got that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Glad.
So we still open it up and see if anybody wants to talk about this meditation practice, your own practice, or the Dharma talk tonight, or anything that's coming up for you. Just kind of have a popcorn. Anybody can talk. Yes.
Mary.
I just find it interesting that, we can hear the lessons over and over. If we've been coming for a while and we're back to repeating, and it's always different.
Yes.
The lesson may still be the same.
Yes.
And yet, because of state of being and state of receptivity, it can be so new and so different every time. The same teaching I just find it so interesting how it can be so different and beautiful and in different ways, depending on kind of what layer of the onion you've unpeeled.
Nice.
That's beautiful. That's such an insight. Because it's the not knowing, hearing it for the first time. It's that openness. That's beautiful, Mary.
Because really, every time you hear it, it is the first time.
It is, and I had a teacher one time we followed around for years, over 30 years, and he used to say, Anita, I say the same thing over and over again. But I said to him, but Rodney, do you understand? I don't hear it the same way every time. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember hearing it, but it's like, oh, yeah. It's those aha moments. Thank you.
Yeah, it gets to be like a very subtle joke. And whatever time you hear it, then you get the joke. Yeah,
Yes.
But it's the same.
Yeah, it's like a reminder. Yeah.
The other one I remember is about our conditioning. You say coming out of Western culture, we're kind of programmed to feel guilty and feel unworthy. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a teacher in India that had a lot of Western students coming to him with that same, bringing that same stuff with him, and he decided that they must have there's a Westerner mantra that must be going on, and he decided that the Westerner mantra was sorry, please, thank you. That seemed to be what everybody kept saying to themselves all the time.
Yeah. Sorry, please, thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
You don't really have to do that.
So any practice questions? Sitting, walking, if you're new or you've been sitting a while, there are always stuff coming up. Yes, please.
I'm very excited for the retreat coming up in a month. So it's my first meditation retreat coming up in a month. So I talked to Paul and Bob very quickly, but just be interested, like when you're heading to your first retreat as a first timer or beginner, what are some things that you should keep in mind and think about or not stress about? So
something new.
Yeah.
And it is scary. I mean, I have to say that first time anytime. But you're going to feel so safe. That's the thing about these retreats. And Howie Cohen, who will be your teacher, I've always called him the teddy bear.
Is that where you're going to Howie's?
Yeah.
Good.
And he's the teddy bear. I always call him the teddy bear teachers. You know, you have all kinds of teachers, 40-year span, and you have some that crack the whip, but he's the teddy bear one. And really, if there's anyone to sit with for your first time, it would be Howie Cohen, because he is very open, loving, compassionate, a teacher. So that's good karma.
You're in good hands.
You're in good hands.
Many people in here have sat with Howie before. So.
How many, raise your hand, you've sat with Howie?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. So he'll make you feel real relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Irene.
And I think from my own experience, it's important to, if you have concerns that are bothering a lot, have a moment to talk with him.
Okay.
That helps a lot. And he's very open and very sweet. Very knowledgeable too.
And other people. And other people too.
He's a psychologist too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
Good.
He's a real human being.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, we usually end our evening with also a meditation practice called Metta, M-E-T-T-A, also called loving kindness. It's Metta in Pali. And sometimes it's nice just to begin with some soft hearing, just listening to the sounds. And Bob has this beautiful steel drum. He'll play and just let yourself relax. Lean back a little. You don't have to sit straight for the metta. In fact, get comfortable. Feel like you're in your easy chair. And just listen to the sounds. See how the sounds come and go. Don't have to try. Just open up. Now in Metta we open our hearts just like we open to the sounds. Through the center of your chest and just feel the sensations as you let your heart open that space. It's like allowing or letting yourself be loved. There are metta phrases that I'll say, and you can also say them if you like, and repeat them to yourself. As a way of acknowledging that beauty and loving space within you. As you say the phrases or hear them, let them wash over you like maybe an echo coming back from a canyon. Receiving the echo, letting it vibrate over your whole body. May I feel safe, free from danger and harm. May I feel happy and content. May I feel well in my body and mind. May my heart rest with ease and well-being. Just feeling that space. May I feel safe. May I feel happy. May I feel well. May my heart rest with ease and well-being. And that same wish now for everybody here tonight, and sitting together. May you also feel safe. May you feel happy and content. May you feel well in body and mind. And may your heart rest with ease. So we're offering loving kindness and now receiving it from everyone in the same way. It's like saying, I love you to yourself. And then letting the heart expand infinitely to include all beings, all animals, all beings. Members of your family, your friends, your pets. Many images may cross your mind. But knowing that all beings wish to be safe, offering loving kindness to all beings. May all beings be safe and feel safe. Knowing that all beings wish to be happy, may all beings feel happy. May all beings feel well. And may all beings rest with ease.